Hello and welcome to Maturing Beautifully with Miss Catherine. This week's video is very passionate to myself and also, I guess, a lot of other women that are around me, and also most of women, I guess, that are in this same situation of, menopause slash 50s, 40s, 60s, whatever it may be. And it's a journey that's taken me on a roller coaster ride, especially for the last sort of 9 years, where I pretty much gained around about 30 kilos. And I didn't realize. I really need to probably go back in time and tell you at the start of my life how it sort of began to get to where, the exciting sort of, last, I guess, 4 or 5 years has been. And, of course, growing up, and you'll see from all the photos scrolling through that, from a young child, I was, always into sport, lots of different sports, always fit. And then, of course, you get into your 20s, and then, of course, you find boys and going out and partying. And the good thing was I was still keeping fit. So we were still doing running and I was doing triathlons. However, I was still, going out and partying. And then the next day, we wake up and we'd go and do a 10K run, or we'd do a 5K run, and we'd have this horrible hangover and we'd still be doing it, which is quite amazing. But, you know now in your 50s, of course, you can't do the same thing to your body mentally and physically as you could back in your 20s and 30s. So, you can see from the photos that was very lucky. I sort of went through most of my 20s and 30s reasonably the same sort of weight, a little bit up and down, but not too bad at all. But I think that balanced out with, doing a lot of high intensity exercise, a lot of cycling, running. I was doing triathlons, so it was pretty non-stop. However, I was still drinking and didn't really know anything about diet back then at all. So it was a real mixed bag. And then, of course, you get to your 30s and, you end up, I had my first child, my son, at mid 30s, and that changes everything. Of course, whoa, pull the reins back in, no more partying as much as you used to. The great thing is, while he was little, I was still playing a lot of sport. So I sort of put on about 10 kilos after he was born, and then I sort of probably lost a little bit of that. But it's like the first sort of like 4 years, you use the usual, like, oh yeah, I still got my baby weight. I still got my baby weight. You just, I don't know, I never got back to what I was previously. And it was always that excuse of like baby weight, baby weight. And it gets to 10 years on, you're like, I'm still using the baby weight excuse, which is pretty bad actually. Um, and then I sort of got to where I was working a lot. I was traveling a lot. I was not at home a lot during the week. I was eating the wrong foods. I was in airports coming and going. And the focus, as most of us mums know, it's not on us. It's all about, keeping the family going, keeping the kids going, getting them to their sports, getting them running around. You get up in the morning, you get them to school, you come home and run them around to all the different sports. It's just a non-stop, I guess, roller coaster ride. And we put ourselves last. And I know I got to when my son was around about probably 12, 13, where I could start to leave him. So I sort of, with my role at work, I changed that. I wasn't traveling as much. I was home a lot more, which was fantastic. So I would get up in the morning and I would, it's really embarrassing to say because I was doing a lot of triathlons. I thought, what can I do to keep fit? So I would get up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and I would put Glad wrap around me. I would wrap it round and round. And then I'd get on my push bike and I'd ride in the dark so no one could see me because I was so embarrassed. I thought, I don't want anyone to see me. And then I would do like 10Ks and I'd build up to 20Ks and got to 30Ks. And I thought, I'm going to join this. I think I'm going to join a group. So then I joined the local triathlon club and that was fantastic. I met lots of lovely people. We went and did rides together and, events together, and we went away on weekends away. And it was a really good way of getting better and honing my skills. And then, of course, I was exercising a lot. I was swimming, riding, running. So, of course, you know what that means. You can eat a lot of food. So I was eating so much food. I would be having chocolate milkshakes every day and bags of chips, and you could pretty much eat anything. It was fantastic. And then I trained for lots of different things, and I got to the point where I did a half triathlon because that was what I wanted to aim for, and then get to a full Ironman, or sorry, a half Ironman, which I did, and then unfortunately my body got very injured. So I had to, from the words of a physio, say, well, it's time to slow down. So I had to take 6 months off and let the body completely repair. So in that time, I was still eating the same way. So I'd gone from like 95 kilos down to like, I was probably like just under 70 kilos, 60, I'd sort of fluctuate a little bit. And then, of course, the next thing you know, I'm back up to like 85 kilos. And you just don't see it. I'm tall. I'm nearly, I'm 5'10". I'm lucky I can sort of hide it and keep it sort of hidden that way. And I'd always wear black. Like you can see in these photos, I'd always be wearing black. I'd hide away. I didn't really know until, especially there's a photo of me at a wedding, and I sort of realized that, I wanted to lose like weight for this wedding and I didn't. And that was probably the first point that was disappointing. And my son was quite young, and he said to me one day, he said, oh, Mum, because, they don't know what being overweight is. I mean, he still looks at me and thought I had arms and legs and everything was the same. But we were sitting on the couch and he says, Mum, what's this bit? And I had like a sort of a chubby bit there sitting out. And he's like, Mum, yours is different to mine. Like, what is it? And it was just that one comment from my son to say, whoa, okay, I want to start looking in the mirror. I want to be able to say, this is great. I was buying size 16 pants at that stage, and you can see from the photo that's what it looks like on me. I didn't want to get up to an 18. I thought if I get to an 18, that is just going to be what I don't want to be. And, I was a size 10 or a 12, and I knew I could get back to there. So I just had to be dedicated. I had to stick to a good eating plan. And I'm by any means not the most strictest by any chance. So at that point, I'd lost the weight, was injured, put a lot of it back on, and then we knew things had to change. My girlfriends and I, we were doing a lot of running and things like that, and we were all getting to that point where my girlfriend did a full marathon, and once again, we we're all getting injured, and we just knew we couldn't keep up with that sort of level. So it was like, what's next? So about 5 years ago, we went and hired a personal trainer, which is probably the best thing I can suggest to anyone to do. It's like a coach or somebody that can just help you get back on track. I can only recommend it enough because they can help you, I guess, devise a plan that suits you specifically. I've got a lot of injuries, so there's only certain things I can do. So we went and met with a bikini she was actually a current pro bikini champion, which we didn't know when we met her. So it was very exciting. We started lifting weights because it was all about, at that point, it was quite early days of like women starting to lift weights and less cardio. So we didn't want to go back into cardio. We wanted to start doing something different. So it was, like the only problem was for us, we were lifting like really heavy weights, but it was like maybe 1 or 2 reps. So it was like light weights to start off with, and you'd be doing like, oh my gosh, I remember we doing like 120 kilo deadlifts, and we'd walk out of there going, oh my gosh, I'm so sore, I can't move. And then I was worried that I'd get injured and I'd break down again, and I couldn't afford to not be working. So probably what happened there is we got a little bit excited. Like my girlfriend, which I cannot believe because she is the most sort of like quite reserved and sort of one that wouldn't jump into things. Whereas I'm like, yeah, I'll go and do that. I'll go and do burlesque. I'll go and try that. Whereas, my girlfriend Ellie said, yep, I want to do a show. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a show. And I couldn't believe it. I wasn't ready. I was still like sort of a fair amount of weight off. So Ellie, I was so proud of her. She went and did this show, and you can see from the photo here, it was amazing. She looked beautiful. It was just amazing to go and see this show. It was ICN, which is run regularly in Melbourne and the other states. And the other thing on this photo, there was a lady here that it was probably once again, there's like a light bulb moment that switches on in the brain. And this lady was 72, and it was her first show that she had done. And she's up on the stage and everyone's clapping her and she's so excited, and you could just see this was her story, this was her journey. And at that point I thought, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want it to be my journey and my story, and I want to see how far I can push myself because I think I can do this. So after that, of course, my girlfriend Ali wanted to do one again. So I thought, let's do it. So I was so good. I stuck to the plan as much as I could because I am the rogue one. So, I'd still go out and have a bit of a glass of red wine. you go back and see the trainer and be like, oh, you get into trouble because you'd sort of derailed, but that's okay. Sometimes I was never perfect. And I did the first show in 2019 and it was wonderful. I just got up on stage. The posing is by far the hardest for me because I don't bend, I'm tall. My muscles will never be big because of my height. This sport's really good for somebody that's quite smaller and compact. And some women just have normal, this natural ability to grow muscle, whereas I obviously don't, unless it would probably take me years and years. But for me, it was more about the fun and the hair and the makeup and the day. It was just so good, and the spray tan and just having such a great time with my friends and family and friends come along to watch. And I thought, what better day can you have than this? And then of course we sort of backed it up and did one 3 weeks later, and that was a lot. So we knew we needed a break, and then we had a break and we thought we'd do just one more. So the next year we did another one and sort of stayed on track, and we derailed a little bit. And of course, me, once again, this yo-yo, which I'm really over being a bit of a yo-yo. I put on 10 kilos because I went away at Christmas time, had a month away, and, probably ate and drank way too much. And the next thing I put on 10 kilos again. So I come back, I'm back on track, get up and do. And then we were doing a show in May, and this was between sort of COVID time or just after COVID. And this was going to be our last one. But then, of course, my girlfriend Ellie got COVID. So, bang, that was shut down. And then we thought, well, we have to do one more. And then we didn't want to do another ICM because we'd already done 3 or 4 or 5, whatever Ellie had done as well. So we thought, let's do something really different, which is Miss Fitness. And they ran all over the other states except for Melbourne. So it was off to the Gold Coast last year. And we got a new trainer, Linda. And this is where you've really got to find the right trainer for you, because she was about sort of, I guess making an individual plan for everybody. My plan was different to Ali's in that way that, I sort of needed to know what I was eating, whereas Ali was really good on MyFitnessPal, whereas for me that is way too hard. I just need to know that I'm having, certain proteins, certain vegetables, salad, whatever. So the next few videos I'm going to show you pretty much how I would eat. And of course, this is individual for everybody. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not anything like that. So this is just my journey and what I sort of did. But I know that it can maybe help you get back on track, or just to have a goal. You've got to have something I believe in, whether it be a wedding or something that you want to get to and you want to strive to feel the best. I think that's how I can probably explain it, is the feeling part. I didn't want to get to 60. I've had a really sort of bad menopause period of like 10 years and lots of ups and downs. And I didn't want to get to 60 and know that this is going to take a lot more work than what it's going to take. So I think it's really important to find what your goal is and to find what works for you. I mean, a bikini competition is, way off for most people. So it could be, a wedding, it could be a holiday, it could be just whatever it is. And it could be about feeling, even just for me, I know when I eat better, I feel better. I know when I eat bad, I don't feel so good. So, the show in Queensland, and there's some photos of here, like with Linda. This was such a different coach and a different show. So this is all about getting your own time on stage. So you get a lot of time up on stage. You get your own walkway on every division, whether it be gown, bikini, and the one-piece swimsuit. So I loved it. It was a weekend away, glammed up, hair, makeup. I also did theme wear, as you could see here. I had such a wonderful time, and I can only suggest, if that's a goal for you, is definitely do Miss Fitness. But I sort of walked away from it. We'd sort of reached, I guess, where we could go with this. And because for me, it was just about my individual goals was to just feel good about myself and not go back to where I was sort of 9 years ago, because I want to be able to wear a size 10 and size 12 clothes again. And I really enjoyed that. So I guess, for me, the last 6 months has been trying about maintenance, because that's probably the hardest part now, is trying to maintain that level of weight, because I am very much a yo-yo. And, now, once again, I've gone up to like 73 kilos. So already the alarm bells. I hate the scales. I'm not a scale person. I can tell from my clothes. But I also know that I dread it when I get on the scales. I'm like, okay, I'll get on the scales, jump on, and I go, oh, okay, I've got to get off. So, yeah, but that was an awakening moment the other day. So I was 73. My goal is to get back down to about 67. So, which is a dress size. 6 kilos is pretty much a full dress size. So my aim is in the next 6 weeks is to lose 6 kilos. So I hope that the next few videos that I put out over the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks will help you engage in some of the recipes. I'll also show you some of the training I'm doing. I'm only going to train 4 days a week. I don't want to overdo it again and get back onto that. I'm not enjoying it. So I'm trying a lot of different things at the moment. I'm doing hot yoga, I'm doing Pilates, I'm doing some altitude training, cycling. I'm really mixing it up a little bit to find something, I guess, different that isn't so, I guess, harsh on my body too, because I've got to be mindful with, certain joints and things. But I'd love you to come on this journey with me and to follow inspiration to, I don't know, just come up with something that inspires you to, look in the mirror and go, geez, I feel really good today. I'm happy. I feel wonderful. And, I want to strive for something that I know myself. I am better when I have a goal for something, a goal to sort of look forward to. However, this challenge for me is like a bit of a personal challenge because I've always had a big goal to sort of get to, whereas now this is just like for me to prove that, this is something you've got to keep working on for the rest of your life. So this is a bit of a life goal, I guess you could say. But thank you for watching, and please hit subscribe, and I'll be putting up some sort of more little shorter videos. Okay. Thank you. Love each other and be kind to each other and take care. Thank you.